What's that last line? Oh, he's gay. Oh, yeah, see, straight guys don't say that. There's nothing wrong with being gay in any way, but he definitely is.
Is the Ryan Reynolds we think we know, the affable, wisecracking, seemingly down-to-earth celebrity, truly who he appears to be? For over 2 decades, he's charmed audiences globally, crafting an image of effortless, cool, and self-deprecating humor. But behind the dazzling public persona, beyond the carefully timed jokes and winning smiles, are there emerging fault lines? Are subtle cracks beginning to fracture the facade of the beloved Hollywood icon, hinting at a more intricate, perhaps even troubled inner world? What if the carefully constructed image, the persona so readily embraced by the public, is precisely that, a performance, a role meticulously honed to obscure a more complex, less palatable reality? We are about to delve into the swirling vortex of rumors, speculations, and emerging controversies surrounding Ryan Reynolds. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew, because what we are about to uncover may fundamentally alter your perception of this celebrated star.
He's also very charismatic. Like a gay guy.
Is Blake Lively a beard? Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give him that family image?
For years, the dynamic between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman has transcended typical celebrity camaraderie, evolving into a cultural phenomenon. Their relationship, often labeled a bromance, has become a constant source of public fascination. From playful social media sparring to affectionate public appearances, their interactions have been endlessly dissected and celebrated. It's been presented and largely accepted as a prime example of light-hearted male bonding, a refreshing glimpse into genuine friendship amidst the often superficial landscape of Hollywood. However, a closer examination prompts a more probing question. Is this celebrated bromance truly as straightforward as it seems? The sheer level of public interest bordering on obsession surrounding their connection suggests a deeper undercurrent, a curiosity that extends beyond simple appreciation for celebrity friendship. Are we perhaps witnessing a carefully curated performance of male bonding designed to distract from, or even subtly obscure, a more nuanced and potentially unconventional dynamic? Could there be layers to this relationship that the public, willingly or unknowingly, is overlooking? And as we peel back those layers, the implications could be far more revealing than initially imagined. But what unfolded next would throw this entire dynamic into sharp relief.
Ryan Reynolds' bromances, his various bromances over the years. We've talked about him and Jake Gyllenhaal, and obviously this has been a bromance that has been very much thrown in the public's face.
Consider the nature and intensity of Ryan Reynolds' public pronouncements regarding Hugh Jackman. It's not merely casual praise, it's a consistent, almost theatrical display of affection that often ventures into territory rarely explored in conventional male friendships, especially within the hyper-masculine arena of Hollywood. Reynolds has repeatedly drawn parallels between his bond with Jackman and the intimacy of marriage, a comparison that feels strikingly unusual when applied to a platonic male friendship. In numerous interviews, he's employed language typically reserved for romantic partnerships, describing their connection with phrases like "genuinely rooting for you" and "we rely on each other for advice." He even publicly joked about his willingness to engage in an impassioned kiss with Jackman, a comment that, while delivered with his trademark humor, still carries a distinct undertone. While playful banter is certainly part of their dynamic, the persistent frequency and fervent nature of these declarations have undeniably raised eyebrows and sparked speculation. Are these merely exaggerated jokes, comedic hyperbole pushed to its limits? Or do they represent something more substantive, subtle signals hinting at a bond that transcends the typical boundaries of male camaraderie, perhaps even deliberately blurring those lines for a specific purpose? It's a level of expressed intimacy, especially in the public sphere, that feels decidedly atypical, particularly when juxtaposed with the noticeably different tenor of his public interactions with his own wife. And yet the most perplexing piece of this puzzle was still to emerge.
Ryan's kind of perpetually highly publicizing his bromances is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because he's a 48-year-old man, Ryan Reynolds. He has 4 kids, and he seems to dedicate a lot of time and resources.
The recent dissolution of Hugh Jackman's 27-year marriage to Deborah Lee Furness injects a new layer of complexity and perhaps even suspicion into this already intricate narrative. The announcement of their separation in September 2023, while undoubtedly a deeply personal event, arrives at a conspicuously relevant juncture. It coincided with escalating public scrutiny of Jackman's personal life, fueled by persistent, decades-long rumors surrounding his sexuality. While divorce is inherently a private matter, in the meticulously managed world of Hollywood celebrity, such events rarely occur in a vacuum. Could this seemingly sudden separation be interpreted as a strategically calculated maneuver, a carefully orchestrated public relations tactic deployed by Jackman's team to proactively manage his public image amidst mounting speculation? Was it designed to subtly reshape the prevailing narrative, particularly as Jackman found himself unexpectedly drawn into the periphery of the unfolding legal drama involving Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni? In a cultural landscape increasingly dominated by public perception and image control, is it plausible that Jackman's divorce, while presented as a personal decision, might also function as a form of preemptive damage control, a calculated attempt to redirect public attention and manage a potentially volatile narrative? And if so, what narrative was being so carefully managed and why? The answer, as it began to materialize, would be more intricate and unsettling than anyone could have predicted, but the real bombshell was yet to drop.
Like financial resources to trying to convince the public that these bromances are perfectly normal. And we're not really asking for that convincing. Like, I don't need people to convince me that guys can hang out with one another, but he feels like he has to make that effort. So he's like, nothing's weird here, nothing's weird. Bromances are so normal.
Enter Blake Lively, often positioned and perceived as the quintessential Hollywood spouse, radiant, accomplished in her own right, and perpetually radiating an aura of domestic contentment alongside Reynolds. Yet beneath the glossy veneer of red carpet appearances and carefully curated family photos, a persistent and increasingly compelling theory has taken root. Is Blake Lively, in essence, a beard? Is her carefully crafted public image as the ideal wife and mother a meticulously constructed facade designed to maintain the illusion of conventional domesticity while Reynolds navigates a more complex, less conventional reality? Her public persona is flawlessly executed. The doting parent, the unwavering supporter, always impeccably styled and smiling for the cameras. However, beneath this meticulously maintained exterior, whispers of a different dynamic persist. Rumors of underlying strain within her marriage to Reynolds, suggestions of emotional distance, and ironically, even accounts of an alleged emotional connection with Justin Baldoni himself have begun to circulate with increasing frequency. Is the perfect wife image simply that a carefully constructed image, a role flawlessly performed for public consumption? And if so, what precisely is this elaborate performance designed to conceal about the authentic nature of her relationship with Ryan Reynolds and the broader narrative surrounding their seemingly enviable Hollywood marriage? The implications were starting to become disturbingly clear, but the most explosive revelation was still on the horizon.
There's no female equivalent to the term bromance. The female equivalent is friends. And so the fact that we need a term to describe two men going out to dinner, I think, is very revealing about what men are allowed or are not allowed to do.
The legal entanglement involving Justin Baldoni serves as a critical inflection point, a catalyst that has inadvertently cracked open a Pandora's box, revealing potential fissures in Reynolds' meticulously crafted public persona. What initially appeared to be a contained, isolated legal dispute has rapidly escalated, exposing a network of interconnected issues and prompting a deeper reevaluation of Reynolds' character. Alarming accusations have surfaced, alleging that Reynolds leveraged his considerable Hollywood influence, wielding his industry connections to essentially blackball Baldoni, actively attempting to sabotage his professional trajectory. The question reverberates: what could have provoked such a drastic, seemingly disproportionate response? This alleged behavior, if substantiated, paints a portrait of Reynolds that starkly contrasts with his carefully cultivated nice guy image, revealing a darker, more controlling facet. Whispers of narcissism and a deep-seated need for dominance have begun to circulate, fueled by these emerging allegations. Disturbingly, accounts have even surfaced regarding Reynolds' directorial choices, such as a promotional skit for It Ends With Us, a film ironically centered on domestic violence, where he reportedly prioritized his mother's presence and relegated Lively to a background role. Is this the charming, relatable everyman the public has come to adore? Or is there a more calculating, potentially manipulative, and power-hungry individual concealed beneath the surface of witty banter and self-deprecating humor? The lawsuit, far from being an isolated legal matter, is increasingly appearing as a potential tipping point, a catalyst that may ultimately unravel a far more intricate and potentially damaging narrative surrounding Ryan Reynolds and his carefully constructed world. And as the layers continued to peel away, the truth became undeniably shocking.
It's a weird thing for them to be trying to constantly tell us, and he's always playing this role of kind of making a lot of gay jokes and like trying to normalize all of these gay jokes, but nobody's actually asking him to do that, not the gay community.
Let's return to the central, unsettling question that now hangs heavy in the air. What fundamental Q Dong Lee driving force underlies this apparent need for control, this alleged pattern of manipulation, this persistent performance of the endlessly charming and affable persona? Could the answer reside in a more profound, deeply personal struggle? A compelling theory, albeit controversial, suggests that Reynolds' intensely publicized bromance with Jackman, his frequent deployment of gay jokes, and his almost insistent need to normalize male affection might not be indicators of genuine openness, but rather paradoxical manifestations of internal conflict. Could his meticulously crafted public image, the carefully constructed persona of effortless charm, be functioning as an elaborate shield, strategically deflecting scrutiny from more sensitive personal questions surrounding his own identity and sexuality? Is the undercurrent of anger, the perceived need for rigid control, the alleged attempts to undermine Baldoni's career, all potentially symptomatic of a deeper-seated insecurity, a protracted internal battle with self-acceptance being played out on the grand stage of Hollywood? It's a hypothesis that demands careful consideration, a controversial interpretation, undeniably, yet one that gains a certain disturbing resonance when juxtaposed with the accumulating evidence and the increasingly peculiar narrative enveloping Ryan Reynolds and those within his orbit. As one industry insider chillingly observed in a moment of candid reflection, straight guys just don't say that. The implications of that simple statement are profound.
That's funny. That's funny to steal Ryan Gosling's little moment there. I'm willing to commit to a bit. An impassioned kiss?
While much of the scrutiny has understandably fallen upon Ryan Reynolds, a crucial and often overlooked element of this unfolding drama is the enigmatic silence of Hugh Jackman himself. His carefully curated public statements, or rather, his notable lack of direct statements addressing the swirling controversies, raise a critical question. Is Jackman merely a passive bystander in this unfolding narrative, or is his silence a more calculated, deliberate strategy? Consider the implications. Jackman has been intimately intertwined with Reynolds' public persona for years, their bromance serving as a cornerstone of both their celebrity identities. He has actively participated in the very public displays of affection and playful banter that are now being re-examined under a more critical lens. Is it conceivable that Jackman is genuinely unaware of the deeper interpretations being placed upon their relationship? Or is he consciously choosing to maintain a strategic ambiguity? Could his silence be construed as a form of complicity, tacitly endorsing the narrative, however complex or controversial it may be? Or perhaps more pragmatically, is Jackman prioritizing self-preservation, acutely aware that directly addressing the swirling rumors and allegations could irrevocably damage his own carefully constructed image and career? His prolonged silence in the face of mounting speculation speaks volumes, hinting at a level of calculated maneuvering that suggests his role in this drama may be far more nuanced and intentional than initially perceived. And the layers of Hollywood manipulation extend far beyond just these two individuals.
Look at his dead eyes. Straight. Gay. So that's all that's happening. He's a closeted gay man, and that's just, when you deny yourself that truth, you're just gonna do weird, crazy shit.
To truly comprehend the complexities of the Reynolds-Jackman Lively narrative, it's essential to contextualize it within the broader, often shadowy landscape of Hollywood image management. The industry, historically and persistently, has prioritized the carefully constructed public perception of its stars, often at the expense of authenticity and personal truth. The concepts of beards, individuals strategically positioned to mask another's true identity, particularly regarding sexuality and lavender marriages, ostensibly heterosexual unions entered into for public appearances while concealing same-sex relationships, are not merely sensationalist tabloid fodder. They are documented, albeit discreetly, phenomena within the annals of Hollywood history. For decades, studio systems and powerful public relations machinery have actively shaped and controlled celebrity narratives, meticulously crafting personas designed to appeal to mass audiences and maximize marketability. Homosexuality in particular has often been deemed a career killer in certain eras and genres, prompting elaborate and often deeply personal deceptions to maintain a commercially viable image. Is it possible that the dynamics we are observing with Reynolds, Jackman, and Lively are merely a contemporary iteration of these time-honored, albeit ethically questionable, Hollywood practices? Are we witnessing a modern-day manifestation of the industry's long-standing playbook for image control? A sophisticated dance of carefully managed appearances and strategically deployed narratives designed to protect and perpetuate lucrative careers regardless of the personal cost. And the human cost, particularly for those caught within this intricate web of image and expectation, is a factor that demands closer scrutiny.
I knew that this was another fake Me Too. I knew she was Amber Heard 2.0. I said it from day one since I heard about this case. So do not take this as I think, oh, she's some poor victim and men are bad and Ryan Reynolds is bad. No, we're talking about this particular case, this particular situation.
Amidst the swirling speculation and intense focus on Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, it's crucial not to lose sight of the potentially profound impact on Blake Lively. Often relegated to the role of perfect wife within this narrative, Lively is not merely a passive accessory in this Hollywood drama. She is a talented actress in her own right and a human being whose life is inextricably intertwined with the unfolding events. If the theories surrounding her marriage being a carefully constructed facade hold any weight, the personal burden she may be carrying is immense. Consider the potential emotional toll of living under constant public scrutiny, while simultaneously navigating a complex and potentially inauthentic private reality. Is she a willing participant in this elaborate performance, strategically aligning herself with Reynolds' image management for career advancement, or is she in some sense trapped within a predetermined role constrained by contractual obligations, societal expectations, and the immense pressures of maintaining a flawless Hollywood image? The rumors of emotional distance in her marriage and the alleged connection with Justin Baldoni hint at a potential yearning for genuine emotional connection, a desire for authenticity that may be stifled by the very facade she is expected to uphold. Regardless of the precise nature of her involvement, it's imperative to acknowledge the potential human cost for Blake Lively, the individual often overshadowed by the larger-than-life personas of Reynolds and Jackman. Her story, too, is a crucial piece of this complex puzzle, representing the often unseen sacrifices and compromises demanded by the relentless machinery of Hollywood image creation. And as we consider these human costs, the true nature of the facade begins to feel even more unsettling.
Reynolds told Jackman during their interview, "I am genuinely rooting for you all the time. I want you to win. It's the same way I feel about Blake. As I'm rooting for her, I know she's rooting for me, and that's why we're so connected."
Just to plot that on a timeline for you, that was in the midst of the principal filming for Deadpool and Wolverine, which got abruptly paused in that September due to the SAG-AFTRA strike. The strike began in June, I believe, and in September, Hugh Jackman announces that he and his wife are separating.
The meticulously constructed facade of Ryan Reynolds' charismatic persona is undeniably showing signs of strain. The carefully cultivated image of the perpetually jovial, effortlessly charming jokester is now being challenged by persistent whispers of control, allegations of manipulation, and deeply unsettling questions regarding hidden truths. The celebrated bromance, the seemingly idyllic marriage, the unexpected lawsuit, are these disparate elements in fact interconnected pieces of a much larger, more complex, and potentially far more disturbing puzzle? A puzzle that, when finally assembled, might reveal a portrait of the man behind the jokes that is dramatically different and perhaps even darker than the public has ever been led to believe. As this intricate narrative continues to unfold, one stark realization becomes increasingly inescapable. The authentic truth about Ryan Reynolds, the reality concealed beneath the layers of carefully constructed persona, might be far more intricate, far more challenging, and potentially far more dangerous than anyone could have previously imagined. The question is no longer if the facade will crumble, but when and what startling revelations will be unearthed in its wake. The next chapter in this unfolding Hollywood drama is poised to be even more explosive than the last. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and if you are determined to stay abreast of every twist, every turn, every shocking revelation as it emerges, make absolutely certain to hit that subscribe button and join our community as we continue to relentlessly pursue the authentic, unfiltered truth behind the enigma that is Ryan Reynolds.